We need to get subscribed and get this unity stronger and beat YouTube at their own game. Okay, that's what this is about. Like I say, go to the remix button, hit the remix button. That way you'll have this video and keep up with this. Otherwise, YouTube's just going to control us, guys, and it's really bad.
I'm going to begin tonight by announcing that I am no longer making the climate change updates. I will be handing those reins over to Mr. Hurricane Tracker. I will provide a link below, and he's showed extreme interest in covering the stories as far as the earthquakes, the tornadoes, the natural disasters, those kind of things. I will, in turn, be doing this series of videos exclusively relying on the industrial stuff. So here we go. It is the 13th of the 3rd, 2013. And this is your radioactive reality. Let's go ahead and start on a story coming off of Fukushima Diary. Reactor number 2 was releasing 2 million becquerels of radioactive material every single hour. Every single hour. Reactor 3 may be worse. According to TEPCO, 2 million becquerels of radioactive material used to be released from the reactor number 2 per hour until they managed to close the blowout panel. Specific nodules was not announced. They state that they couldn't close the panel sooner due to high levels of radiation. TEPCO comments on the panel was accidentally opened by the blast of reactor number 1. It managed to release hydrogen gas to avoid hydrogen explosions of the reactor building, supposedly. Now, this is all supposedly. They explain reactor number 2 released most of the radioactive material into the atmosphere. So we're talking 2 million becquerels of radioactive material released every hour. Wow, into the atmosphere. But the journalist Kino points out the possibility they haven't measured the actual amount of radioactive material released from reactor number 3. At this moment, they state reactor 2 released most of the radioactive material, but I think that's just they haven't measured the released amount from reactor number 3. Reactor number 1 is covered, reactor number 2 has the reactor building, but reactor number 3 had the building collapsed, and there's no place to measure the actual radiation being released. So number 3 is much worse than number 2 as far as into the atmosphere, radiation, cesium, the whole bit. Now over to EXSKF. It's a blog spot that's been covering the Fukushima disaster since day one. Very reliable source. They have a story out. NOAA, high split model of Fukushima radioactive aerosol dispersion. Now this is the NOAA's official, as published by the NOAA on March 1st, 2012. I followed the link to this. The NOAA has already canceled or deleted this off their website. So I'm going to pull the camera off and I'm going to show you the video and everything off of this. Hold on a second. Alright, and this is just the dispersal here. Now this is the NOAA light numbers. This is the aerosol in the air directly right after the accident. I will provide a link, of course. Much lighter than what actually happened. Now on this graph it stops, the actual leak stops, and they just kind of let it ride from there. But in reality, from this last story, every single hour, the insanity continues. So, over to E&E News. Work is halted at the giant sinkhole in the Bayou Corn. Sharp tremors continuing every 15 minutes. Gas fluids moving below the ground, ? There's a lot of seismic activity going on around the Bayou Corn sinkhole, and they've gotten everybody the heck out of there. Here's a great story. Brainwashed. TEPCO like a cult. Workers thought missile from North Korea caused Fukushima explosion. This is what they're telling their workers. They're insane. There's a video on that, of course. I got a gas pipeline fire out of control in Louisiana Bayou. A 19-mile long fuel with fuel still inside. Now this isn't not a 19-mile long actual fire. It's like where a barge hit a pipe and then there's fuel coming out of where the pipe's broken. There's videos of that, of course. And 2 years ago today, New York Times reports U.S. would be harmed only if by full meltdown at Fukushima. Months later, it's revealed full meltdowns had occurred. Japan nuclear expert containment vessels continued to break at various spots, one after another, from Fukushima melted fuel. It lost the protective wall which seals in the radiation. A video, 10 million people in Japan have been abandoned in high radiation areas after Fukushima. The Kanto region is extremely contaminated. Top nuclear official, atomic bomb may be used to blow up large asteroid. What is this, Armageddon? Japan professor, Fukushima released equivalent to 1,000 atomic bombs, question mark. Why, was those numbers just released at the day of the explosion or the ongoing insanity that is Fukushima? Surveys are bullshit. Like I'm watching a horror movie. Menacing crows all over Fukushima town. Quote, I didn't know a place would become like this. And these are these abandoned radioactive zones throughout Japan. Very eerie. Reporter finds radiation levels 1,000 times government limit far from Fukushima plant. Quote, a spot where kids walk to school. And you know they take these measurements at 1 meter high. That's 3 feet American. Way above the head levels of these children. So if they take the actual radiation levels at ground level, where they should take these radiation, it would be much, much, much higher than the numbers we are getting right now. U.S. Navy sailor, higher-ups, senior chiefs now say they're sick after Fukushima exposure. And again, this is just going to get worse and worse. It's very sad that they sacrificed the brave men and women of the United States Pacific Fleet during that whole ordeal. And I remember reporting on when they told everybody to get the heck out of there. License denied for U.S. nuclear reactor. First time in history, NRC has upheld a denial. Well, there you go. Small change. Aaron Brockovich on the sinkhole. Quote, we have a pretty good indication that it's a dead area. Could be an explosion at any minute, and gas pressure is extremely intense. And again, they've stopped the work there. They pulled everybody out as hours ago. Up to 47 quadrillion becquerels of cesium-137 released into the Pacific Ocean from Fukushima. Nearly 50 times the original TEPCO estimate, and I'm sure these numbers are way low, this study. 47 quadrillion becquerels of cesium-137. Fukushima fallout detected in fish from the Atlantic Ocean. Interesting read. Major expose, abuse at U.S. nuclear plant contributed to multiple deaths, rash over severe illnesses, reactor operators having suicidal thoughts at work, and of course, they're dancing with the devil. Governor, deadly hydrogen sulfide could be released if sinkhole number 2 forms, warns of possible increased instability in and around the site. And just a general, everybody needs to get the heck away from there. Fukushima Daiichi equal or greater to Chernobyl, question mark. Some startling results, quote unquote. Way, way beyond whatever Chernobyl could have been. Is still ongoing, Chernobyl. Louisiana governor plans for sinkhole number 2, taking immediate action to protect lives. And of course the stories go on and on and on and on as usual. I will be coming at you more often with these radioactive reality shows. Enjoy while you can, everybody. Thanks.